Straight back to you to look at some more things, and we're going to try and do a little bit of basic technical analysis. Let's draw some lines on the graph. So previously we covered putting in this channel, and this channel, okay? Now we're going to put in some more lines that are not as strong. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this line. I'm going to leave my horizontal lines a little bit different, so we'll make it a line like this. That's already at 1. That's fine. I will change the color. Buy lines and sell lines. We'll have the sell lines can be yellow and the buy lines can be blue. Okay, so let's see if we can position this line a little bit better. We're going to use the day graph for this. So we're looking for candles and wicks. Now over here, there's a wick in the body, wick, a little bit above. So we can see here that we're a little bit above this body and above the end of this. So I can drop that down here a tiny bit. See? Now, so I've included the wicks, but now I'm just at the top of this body, the bottom of this body, and the bottom of this body. That looks a little bit better. And now we'll see how it worked out in the future. Oh, look, coincidence or not, bang on the bottom of this one. Another wick, and another wick. And off we go. We're a little bit higher here. This might have been the one we were on previously, and a little higher than this. So you can move that up a little bit if you want to cover these ones. You can't be completely accurate, and I'm not going to draw 2 lines right beside each other or make it any larger, because we understand when price comes to these lines, it's not bang on the line will have the interaction. It can be a little bit above it or a little bit below it. So there's a good line, and we'll find another line. Let's see. So we'll try a line below. I could put one here. It's a little bit too high. We're not going to put all the lines together. So this area here we stopped at. I'm going to leave that one as well. Okay, here, this looks good. I like this line here. I'll tell you why now in 2 seconds. And I might move it a little bit. Zoom across. Now, here we meet the top of this body, and we've got a wick and a wick and a wick, nearly the bottom of this one. Lots of bottoms and tops here, another wick, wick, wick. So I could move it up to touch this wick, but remember, your accuracy on these things is not needed. Just pretty good. You want to find a lot of tops or bottoms of your candles, and you want to find a lot of wicks. Now, as you can see with the 2 lines we've drawn, they look pretty interesting for current price. We failed at this line. As I said, it's not going to be perfect, but this is a fail. We came back down, found support, went back up, came back down, tested it, retested it, and went back up again. Met the next line, fell down, bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. All right, and we can draw on another line. Let's see. So I'm not going to draw any lines in here currently, but I want you to be aware that there pretty much this top one is a line and the bottom one is a line, certainly. And you can draw one in the middle as well, pretty much, which is why I use a parallel channel. It gives you 3 kind of lines that can be accurate. So the middle one is very good. You see, it's at the bottom of all of our current action. And it was a top here. And it was a top over here. Pretty close. Now let's see, we'll draw some lines below. So we get our trend again. Now, there's lots of space to draw some lines. Let me see. I like this one here. So I'm going to pop that one in. Now, nice and straight. There we go. Now let's see. So it's good here and here and here. Could be a little bit lower for these, but I got these ones in. That's nice. This nice wick got all these. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like that one. That can stay there too. I'll get another one. We're not going to draw too many in on the day graph now. Like we can go down to the 4 hour and draw some more. Okay, well, we've covered up this with our parallel channel at the bottom. So I'll leave that there. So I find like it's great to draw a few on the daily graph first. Now, what I'm going to do, because I like this to make it clearer, is change the color of the buy line and the sell line. So the sell lines are above price. So you can take profit any sell line you like. I won't be taking profit at these sell lines, but who knows? I might. They're always good places to take profit. So I'm going to change the buy line to blue. Let's see. Blue. And I'm going to pull it all the way across here. I don't expect to hit this line anytime soon, but it's a possibility. And if we were to be down there, everything is cheap, cheap. Hence, we call it a buy line. Now, when we go back up here where it says days, we can change to a different time frame. So we're going to go to 4 hour. Okay. Now on the 4 hour, the candles, the bodies, I'll show you one. I'll zoom in so we can see one nicely. On the 4 hour, these candles are 4 hours. So this candle here, this was the price action for 4 hours. And then these are the wicks. This is where price went to during the 4 hours, but price didn't close at those prices or open. And you can see that line is looking pretty good already. We have nice little bodies here and wicks. It's perfect. So let's see. We're going to add in some more lines. And in a 4 hour, there's lots of ways to do it. But one way of doing it, literally, is putting a line at all the peaks and all the dips. I have all the lines. Now, we have covered a lot of these ones here. Let's see, I'm going to get another line. Well, because I'm doing this on the 4 hour, I might put in small dotted red lines, but we'll see. So I can literally go to any wick I like. So I go to this one here, bottom of that, and go across. And I can come all the way down here. And that's a line. Now, because I've drawn this on the 4 hour and not the day, I'm going to consider this a weaker line. Okay. So in order to do that for myself, I'm going to put it in red. It's a weak line, and I'm going to make it dashed. Now, so I am now aware that the strongest ones are these big blue parallel channels. And I have these three lines that are the next strongest. Okay. You can see we held support on this one and we failed at it. And then we lost it here after a big dump. Now we can draw in some more lines. And as I said, we don't need to be very particular now on this time frame because we can draw them all in. So I'm going to start at this wick here, you see, but I'm going to bring it all the way over here. Start drawing it to bring it across. And then come straight across. And we're top of the wick. It's not very straight. Let me adjust it over this side. Oh, no, it's good. Okay. And you can, if you like, you can use horizontal lines. Watch, I'll use a horizontal trend line instead. So a horizontal trend line is going to go off into the future, like when we did our raise for our trends. So now I can pick one. I'm going to go on the top of this one here. And you see, it just pops out straight away. I don't need to draw it, and I can move it in place in a minute. I'll make it a dashed line again and color it in red. Jade, are you understanding everything?
Yes, I am, from what you've taught me in the past.
Jade has a few extra lessons under her belt than a lot of people.
Yeah, still confusing though, but
the picture will be confusing. And remember,
yeah,
we're not worrying about price too much. And we can check the price of the lines when price is getting there. And you can see that this yellow line I drew from the weekly chart is not very accurate on the day chart. Now, what you can do, or sorry, on the 4 hour, you can change it on the 4 hour, and sometimes they can be far more accurate, but we don't really know. So this would be it here. I still think it would give us a similar length of time in here before we break. When we break the line, whether it being sitting here or sitting over here, we will still be able to tell if we've broken it because price will move pretty quickly to the upside. So
Yeah.
you can't be sure on your lines because they'll be different on many different time frames. I do like to keep the important ones on the longer time frames, but that means I know that they're not extremely accurate. I might be moving them again. I'm sure I've moved this line a few times. And now that we have our trend in and it should still be red, I can lock down here. You see this pencil and this padlock? So I can now lock that. And the drawing tool I chose, which is the horizontal line, which is now in red, is locked. And now I can move quickly. So I'll pick this peak here, line, and she goes. This peak here, line, and she goes. And I'm going to ignore all this jumble in here. We know there's a lot of resistance support in there. If you are playing in here, you're probably trying to play leverage or something because we don't know what's going to happen. We know it's going to break to the upside or to the downside. We don't know when, we don't know which will happen first. And we've got a lot of wicks that we can have going in any direction. So I wouldn't really be trading in here at the moment. And I feel like this whole block as support is enough to leave it as. So I'm not going to draw any lines in there. If I was trying to trade shorter time frames, I could consider it. But I feel like there isn't any need. There's a lot of profit to be made the way I'm doing it as it is. And then we don't need a lot of these lines. Hopefully price will not be down here, but we'll draw them in for you. You see, I click the top of this peak here. Now top of this peak here, put in a line. And top of this peak, I'll put in a line. And this peak, you can just click on all the peaks and practice your TA. If you aren't able to draw lines, you get a lot of practice here. And remember, these prices these red lines are not going to be as strong, but if you see price interacting there, maybe you're like, oh, maybe this is a strong line. And you'll know because you have the lines drawn in. I will put some more at the top where we hope price to go to if we continue our bull run. So I'm just going to lots of different peaks. In the 4-hour time frame, you're going to have lines everywhere. So you don't have to worry about it too much, but it's good to draw them in for practice. And for me, at least, it gives me a better concept of what I'm looking at. I feel like I have a better understanding of where price is and where's it going. So just any of these peaks here, just click on them and you pop in your line. Nice and quick, nice and fast. And yeah, this bottom one here can have one. There we go. And the bottom of this one. Now as you can see, if you're going to draw your supports and resistance, your sell and buy lines on the 4-hour, you're going to have a lot of lines. So I really do think it can just be fine to draw them on the day or the week. Now, what I do want to do is, let me see, what is this price down here at? This is 35. Now, what I want to add in is a price down here that I think we could bounce off, which is this price here. You see this one? It's about 37.5, okay? Now, that was the bottom of our wedge that we've seen in one of our other graphs. Is it here? Okay, that's not the other graph. Let's see, I have it in the green one. I'll pop it up for you so you can see. Here she comes, Bitcoin green. Now I'm going to go back to the day graph, and please don't get too confused about what we're looking at. Jade will let us know if we're confused.
Confused.
Are you confused? Well, we're having a slight loading issue. Load,
Okay.
please.
Takes time to load up
It does. We might have to come back later.
the honeypot.
All right, we'll come back later while that's loading. So I'm going to put the line in now. I'm going to make it a little bit stronger, which is 37.6 on the 4-hour. I think on the weekly, it's a little bit higher, but that's fine for me. We only need to be approximate. So I'm going to click on that and make it a larger size. We'll go to 3. And I'm going to change the color to blue as our byline. Now, and it's dashed, so we go back to a straight line. Now, oh, it's very big. We'll go down to 2, let's see. And 1. 2, we'll go with 2. Okay. Now this, for me, was an area we didn't test, and we still haven't tested it. We tested it here, but we were going up, Jade, you see? So a lot of people didn't have their orders in to buy because we weren't going down. So we were going up. People were riding the wave. The intelligent smart money weren't buying in these areas. Do you know what I mean? Now, some of them might have taken profit here and bought straight back, but that wouldn't have been a huge percentage of them. And maybe the very smart people did, but a lot of people would have just let the price go up if we were breaking this. And I feel like there are still a lot of orders at this line. And this is why, if you see my other graphs, this is where where I would like to see the last of our bounces. And we could get one now on the way down. We could bounce here. That would be fine. And we can get one in the future, which would be fine too. Let's see if our graph is loaded. It has. We're ready to go. So I'm going to show you why I had that marked out based on graphs. Let me see. We're on the day chart. That's lovely. I'll zoom out. So this is my green chart, which I was following all the way up to 53K. And this was a chart that told me we were going to go down. And you see here, we have this wedge and this wedge. So it's a very similar pattern that I had drawn out in anticipation that patterns could repeat themselves. Not saying that this was my expectation, but that patterns can repeat themselves. So let's see. Now, the bottom of the pattern, I think my lines maybe have moved a little bit. Let's see. Put them back. I'm probably playing with it. So I'm going to put them back in action.
Put them on all your hearts.
Yeah, the hearts there.
The money plots.
The hearts there is where I wanted to take profit, but also where I was worried that if we passed that line, we would be going up, but we didn't. I'm going to leave that there because that was my projection. I'm not going to move that. So this green line here is where this wedge started. You see, Jade? Get off your phone. You see the wedge here?
Yeah.
It started at this green line. So that's one of the reasons why I thought the green line was always a possibility. That, and we haven't tested it on the way down, so there's orders left there. Now, over here in our wedge, you see the start of the wedge was about 30K. Guess what? We fell out. We wicked off 30K. So to follow this pattern, we will be wicking off. On this line, I have it as 38. And as you all know, it could be 38. It could be a little bit lower. It could be 37. Let me see. That would be 37.3. Maybe would be the most accurately I could get it on the day chart. I will be looking at somewhere ballpark this area. If I was going to be buying, I wouldn't. If we got to 37.5, I'd be like, we did it. We're on my line. Bye, bye, bye. I wouldn't be waiting for 37.3. So somewhere in this area. So that's why I've made that line a little bit stronger in this graph. Okay. And I think maybe in homage to my green graph, I'll make it green. So it's nice and clear. Okay. Now I'm going to unlock that. And now I've shown you how to draw horizontal support and resistance lines is what they're called in TA. I like to just call them buy lines and sell lines because it really tells you what you're meant to do when it gets there. Sell line, take some profit. Buy line, buy some coins. And as we all know, Bitcoin controls the whole market. So you can sell some of all of your coins up here. You, Jade. You at home understand that this is not advice, and I'm just talking to my friend Jade.
Yeah.
Now, let me see. What I would also like to do is put in some trend lines. So these are also called trend lines when they're diagonal. I was putting in buy and sell trend lines to teach you how to do that. But I'm going to show you some other lines on the same thing. We'll go back to the day and see, and we'll expand it out. Now, so what we have is we understand that this is a big sell area. So can we put any more lines up here? Of course we can. Let's get a nice big trend line. Let me see. I'll get another dashed one, and we're going to make it 3. And in homage to my orange graph, you can be orange because that's where I drew those lines. Now, let's see. I've got a wick here and a wick here and a peak here. So I'm going to draw a line between those three. Oh, we're on horizontal lines. Hold on, we go back. We need a normal trend line. And we'll try again. So let's see, we go from the wick here, wick, wick, and straight up. Now, we said we're going to make it orange and big. Okay, now this is an important line. And this, I've drawn this in other graphs, of course, as well. And I feel like bouncing between this line and this line is certainly a possibility. And you can see why I've drawn it in. Now, of course, much like all the lines, we could make it a little more accurate. I could go down here. Let me see. So I've got this one pretty good. I've got most of these. I missed that one. That's okay. And we've got this one, missed this one. As I said, when we get near this line, we understand that we could be at it, even if we're just below it. So if we were to arrive into this channel, I'll make it bigger for you again, guys. If we were to arrive into this channel where I expect a lot of selling pressure, and if we have this line on top of us also to slow us down, I think we could definitely be going down. I think we all know I expect to go all the way back down to here. A lot of people don't, because they're looking at this graph as, they're looking at that as a big movement. Jay, does it look like a big movement in this section? Mm-mm. It looks completely normal to go up there and come back down. It looks like a small, it's only the top half of the channel we're stuck in. We're clearly stuck between this price and this price. We were below on this price for that's 3 months. This is 3 months. This is not even 3 months yet. And to say, oh, off we go, it's not that easy. So I think this line is very important. And I think the other lines pretty much cover what we have. We don't need any more trend lines to pop in for our current price. But you could also lower it down, you see. And now you hit this. That looks a little more interesting. And we're still here. And we're still here. And we're still here. And over here, we were always going to be touching some wicks. Now you can see, oh, this was another reason we could have gone down. We were also hitting this line, which is a very strong one as well. So I think it's very likely when you put lines together, they can work together. It can be stronger because some people are playing some of the lines, some people aren't. And a lot of people don't realize they're playing the lines. They're just leaving prices behind. And that's what forms the lines. Those who are understand. So when we meet, if we come up here, like this would be like November, December. So that's quite a long time away. But we'll see. We don't know how long these things will take. But we come down, do a little bit of upsy downsy here, and we go up. We could fail around this area and come back down, or it could take longer. We'll see. And remember, this line could also be up here, which would mean we could go up faster before we meet it. So we don't know. Okay. That's it, everybody. It's a very good idea to practice drawing lines in all directions. None of your lines are wrong. Some of them will be stronger than others, and some of them will be weaker than others. So I do think it can be helpful to draw them on the weekly graph, and then you know they're strong. They're like, okay, I do 3 or 4 lines on the weekly graph. So these channels would have been drawn on the weekly graph as well as these yellow lines here and the blue lines down here. Now I could have put in some more, but they're not always all needed, especially when we get closer to lines. I might go, oh, I'll pop in some more lines. I don't really need any lines on my graph. I'm quite content to look at it without anything. But I've been staring at the graph every day continuously, so I know I have all the prices memorized in my head. All right, Jade, say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a good week.
Goodbye, everybody. I hope you've learned something. Remember, mind your money, sell on green, buy on red. Don't worry that we're going down. When we go down, what happens after we go down, Jade?
Go up.
We go up.
Up
To profit and riches. All right, profit and riches. Yeah, that's what we all want.